My name is Charles Sias, and I was raised in Alexandria. I was born in Mississippi, but came to Alexandria in 1957, and we lived in various locations. When we first came up here, I lived in the Dip for a short period of time. Then we moved to the south side of Alexandria, where I attended elementary school at the Loud's Crouch Elementary School. There, I went through from the 5th grade through 7th. And once we finished, I graduated to Parker Gray in the 8th grade. And I was in the last graduating class at Parker Gray in 1965. Well, you know, as in Alexandria in the early days, in 1957 through maybe 1960, the school systems were segregated. And on the south side, we had I thought we had a very good community, because it was a little different from most communities that I witnessed there, because most of the parents, they cared about all of the kids, not just theirs, but they cared about all of their kids. So when they saw one kid, maybe not theirs, in trouble, they would counsel these kids and possibly, you know, tell their parents. So I think that was a good thing in Alexandria. But some of the other sections, especially on the north side, I'm not certain if that existed. You know, they were a little scattered in terms of, you know, families, you know, having that type of relationship with all of the kids.
Why do you think that was? I mean,
Well,
more so in your neighborhood, I guess.
I would think, and I really believe, our families were closer on the south side of Alexandria. And the parents were more involved with the kids, because when we went to visit the various friends, their parents, you know, treated you as one of theirs. I'm not certain, well, let me be fair to the folks on the north side. I didn't live on the north side, so I'm not certain if that existed. It's a possibility that that might existed in pockets. But on the south side of Alexandria, all of the families knew each other. We had certain folks on the south side who were, I mean, spark plugs, if you would. This one lady, she was about 80 years old. Her name was Mrs. Lucy. Miss Lucy, we called her. And she was the mother of Helen Day. Helen Day is, the post office is celebrating her in her name. And this lady had a direct communication with all of the parents on the south side of Alexandria. So you would always have to be cautious if you even think about doing something wrong. This lady would go to your parents and have a little counseling with them, and then you have to face your parents, because our parents believed in this lady. So I think that was a good thing. You know, now that I look back, a lot of folks who know me know that I was an athlete. And one of the things that I think one of the unique things about my athletic background was the fact that I was a pole vaulter. And in the Black community, you didn't have very many pole vaulters. So I had a lot of friends, you know, we had white friends, you know, that we got along with, and we all had the same interests. We were interested in track and field. And we would go to Smoot's lumberyard, I believe, and we would get sawdust, and we would bring it back to this playground on Royal Street. And we would have piles of sawdust on the playground. I know the folks who were the maintenance people did not like that. So here's you come to work to pull maintenance on this playground, you know, keeping the grass cut and, you know, so forth. And here is a big pile of sawdust that we brought up, and we would bring our standards out there, and we would actually jump on the playground. I think I actually jumped with a bamboo pole about 11 feet on this playground. So, you know, I cherish those memories, because Eventually I became a state champion in the pole vault at Parker Gray. And I believe I'm the only state champion pole vaulter, which I did in 1965, and I set a state record. I believe I'm the only one. And the other thing that I'm grateful for is the fact that I'm doing that right now. I'm one of the coaches over at Lake Braddock High School, and I coach the pole vault. I have, several very, very prominent pole vaulters in Northern Virginia, and I've been doing it for almost 10 years. And we've had, I know 10 or 11 kids who have qualified for state competition, and that's our objective every year, to make state. So I'm proud of that. And the coaching aspect of my life, I played basketball in college, and one person that I can look to for my success, I believe, is Arnold Thurman. Arnold Thurman was our varsity basketball coach. And sometimes I look back and what if I didn't make this basketball team? What direction would I have gone? Because the relationships that I encountered while a member of this varsity basketball team were much different from the kids that I grew up with. Our objectives were different. And when I made the basketball team, these guys talked about college, they talked about careers, and that kind of, I was attached to that type of arrangements. And I attribute that to Mr. Thurman because he taught us character, he taught us honesty, responsibility. These were some of the things that he taught us, and I hold those things very, very close to me that I'm doing now. Mr. Thurman was a very successful basketball coach in the state of Virginia. He won multiple state championships in our segregated system. And when the system integrated, I was very disappointed in the Alexandria school system because they never offered this man a head coaching job. With all of the state championships that he won, I think they might have offered him maybe an assistant job, which to me, I was very disappointed in that. And most of the coaches who they actually hired had never come close to a state championship in their lives. But I guess the system in Alexandria, it's changed a bit. We still have a ways to go. Well, one of the people, and you'll probably be interviewing him later today, is a very close friend of mine. We were on a basketball team together, and he went on. He transferred to an integrated school where he became an instant star there, and he went on to the University of West Virginia. I apologize for that. And he went there, one of the first African Americans to play basketball at University of West Virginia. So he was a very, very good friend. He doesn't realize how good a friend he was. And now he's had a successful career in basketball. He was the first assistant basketball coach, I believe, at Duke University, and he had various other assistant jobs. And also he was a very successful coach at George Mason University, the women, and he's also been an announcer. He's done a whole bunch of things. He doesn't really realize how important he has in my life, and so he's someone that I kind of model after, but he doesn't realize that. He's going to find out when he sees this tape.
What is it about his influence that has made such a big?
He's been very successful in the coaching area. He's done a very good job, and I did have the opportunity to be an assistant coach on a college basketball team. And right now, these kids, I have great kids that I'm coaching, as a pole vault coach at Lake Braddock High School. We have 4,600 students, and I have about 15 students who came to me. Most of them never vaulted before, and most of them now can clear bars. So I'm really proud of that. And I've been doing that for about 10 years. Well, your parents, you never can forget your parents. My aunt who raised me was a single parent, and she mostly domestic type work, but I was able to do most things. She bought me clothes, she fed me, she inspired me with her courageous fact that she was able to hold a household with such a meager income. So, and also she preached, live within your means, and that's something that resonates with me today, living within my means. And I've been married for 47 years, and I have a great wife who has been very influential in my success. I was fortunate to go to college, and I have a master's degree in business and public administration. And I was fortunate to work for a Fortune 500 company. And we were able to develop some things which I'm proud of. We developed a blueprint how to sell to a specific customer. So I'm really proud of that. And I'd say all of this developed with the folks here in Alexandria. I had great teachers who were no nonsense, believe it or not. I didn't do very well in terms of academics, and then it dawned on me that you need to do better, and I did. So I'm pleased with that.
How have you seen the city change over the years?
The city has changed. When I first came to Alexandria in 1957, I actually witnessed the lines down the middle of the bus, the segregated swimming pool that's on the lower end of Alexandria. The theaters were all segregated. I don't know if I saw any colored signs, but I saw enough. The drugstores had the lines down, and all that has changed. The one thing that hasn't changed, it has changed somewhat, but not to my liking, and that is the educational portion where the recognition of Black History Month. I don't like it just being 1 month. I think Black history recognition should be all year round. We have so many people here in this city who are noteworthy that have not been recognized. And I think that there are a lot of folks just like myself walking around, they don't know all the history that the contribution that African Americans have made to this city, the growth of this city. So I'd like to see that change. I'd like to see African American recognition all year round. And with this administration, I'm not certain if that's going to be possible now with this dismantling of DEI. Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's important, as I said, my mother told me to always live within your means. And I think that's very important. That'll keep you above board and not going into debt. This is for young people, basically, because sometimes folks tend to go above that, and that's tend to get them in trouble. Also, the honesty, your character, all these things are very important. So that's what I guess I can leave with them.